Thank you all for being here. I want to acknowledge the many people standing here for today's announcement, which I think really highlights how important the things that we're going to be talking about today are. Let me start with acknowledging the elected officials with us today. Alderman Gil Villegas, Chairman of the Economic Development Committee, and Alderman David Moore. Both of these individuals are fierce advocates for ensuring that minority businesses get the resources and opportunities they need to thrive. So thank you both, gentlemen, for being here today and for your hard work and advocacy every day. I also want to welcome local business owners like Nosa Ihawayman, Boa Construction, and business group leaders like Amelia Domenko of the Women's Business Development Center, Charles Smith of the Business Leadership Council, and Jorge Perez of HACIA, the Hispanic American Construction Industry Association. Thank you all for being here. I also have to acknowledge and give thanks to three other people who are with us today and were instrumental in making today's announcements possible. Our Chief Financial Officer, Jenny Wong Bennett, Comptroller Reshma Soni, and Chief Procurement Officer, Shannon Andrews. We're here today to proudly announce three new initiatives the City of Chicago is putting in place to further support our small, minority, and women-owned businesses known as our MBEs and WBEs. The change we need and the change we want doesn't just happen. We must be intentional to make it happen. And while city government cannot solve all problems, and certainly not without partnerships from the private and philanthropic sectors, as we have seen time and again through the pandemic, our city government plays a central role in the success of our local businesses and our economy, in crafting policies on how we conduct business, but also in how we as a city government directly work with our many vendors and contract partners, which is what today's announcements are all about. At its core, what we're announcing today will help level the playing field for both current and future businesses that do business with the City of Chicago. And in so doing, better support our communities and better serve our residents and businesses who rely upon city services every single day. And just the lineup of speakers we have here really represents the importance that this moment holds. First, I'm happy to announce that we're establishing the new City of Chicago Vendor Impact Fund. This is designed to combat longstanding inequities and give disadvantaged firms better access to affordable financing, with preferences given to those businesses located in the city and with more than half of their employees also located in the city, particularly those located in disadvantaged areas. I want to give a special thanks to both the Community Reinvestment Fund and Goldman Sachs, who contributed a combined $24 million in seed funding for this fund. I also want to acknowledge our CFO, Jenny Wong Bennett, who worked tirelessly to bring these resources to the table. This partnership epitomizes the kind of dynamic and creative public-private community partnership that we have been building since I entered office almost 2 years ago. So this is an important thing, a $24 million fund. Second, we're announcing today is the creation of a prompt pay working group, which will help ensure that city vendors are paid in an efficient and timely manner. Now, stretching back to 2005, my days as the interim first procurement deputy director, one of the consistent themes that I heard over and over again from small businesses was how bad the city was at payment, slow pay. And unfortunately, that reputation and reality is still with us today, now almost 15, 16 years later. And I aim to end that problem. Anyone who's worked for themselves can tell you the endless struggles and frustrations of getting paid and getting paid on time. And that frustration turns into real stress when the payment you're waiting for is the same payment you're counting on to pay other bills and expenses. No small or medium-sized business can afford to carry a debt 60, 90, or longer when they have to continue meeting payroll and buying materials to get an existing job done. The city's mantra must be, When you deliver the work on time, it's only right that you get paid on time. Simple as that. So frankly, we need to do a better job, and establishing this priority will help us do that. That's why the Prompt Pay Working Group will be working with key infrastructure departments to build on the critical work already underway, applying transparent, common sense measures like tracking contracts through the payment process, creating standardized city policies to address processing time, and numerous other actions to ensure that no one who does business with the city will ever have to wait longer than they need to get paid by the city of Chicago. We need to be about the business of putting money back into the hands of our small and medium-sized businesses. It's good for them and it's good for us, so that businesses don't avoid doing business with the city of Chicago because of slow pay issues. Finally, I'm proud to announce that I will be signing an executive order today to enhance reporting measures to bring more transparency around how diverse firms are being utilized both on city and non-city contracts. The order will require prime contractors on the front end of work to tell us when in the life of a contract a minority or women-owned business will actually be utilized. And then, and this is important, will further require regular quarterly reporting on that utilization so that the Department of Procurement Services can track during the life of the contract whether or not the prime contractors are living up to their contractual obligations around utilization. This new requirement that spans all city contracting across all departments will be an important tool in ensuring that there is actual utilization of minority and women-owned businesses by prime contractors. I mean to end the days where a contractor fails to give these small businesses actual work and then pay some small amount of liquidated damages at the end of a contract. Another important element of the executive order requires for the first time that certain businesses who have contracts with the city must now provide annual reports on their supplier diversity efforts on non-city procurements. Why is this important? Here's why. We saw in the wake of the horrific murder of George Floyd and the righteous civic uprising that followed, companies of all sizes affirmed a set of values around eliminating systemic racism and expanding opportunities for disinvested communities. That's great. But what we are now saying is prove it. With this new executive order, certain companies that do business with the city will be required to provide annual updates on minority and women-owned and disadvantaged businesses outside of their city contracts. Let me say that again. They will be required to provide updates on how they are actually doing business with women and minority and disadvantaged businesses outside of their city contracts. This transparency requirement will give us, for the first time, a glimpse into who we are doing business with and whether they share our values around building an equitable and inclusive economy. In sum, we want companies to go beyond statements and put their money where their mouth is. Now, folks, you know this, but it bears repeating. From the beginning of my administration, we have been about building wealth in historically disadvantaged people and communities. These three initiatives today build on the many actions we have already taken to date to support our small and medium-sized businesses, particularly those that have been historically left out and left behind. Leveraging the vast power of city government to expand opportunity. Unlock the talent that we have right here at home and help our city become more equitable, more inclusive, and more successful. This has to be an intentional focus as we see ourselves coming out of the pandemic and focusing on recovery. If we do these things and more and continue to be intentional about building wealth and communities, we will have an historic recovery across all of our neighborhoods that sees a new Chicago Renaissance coming to fruition. And I'm excited about being and leading this effort. Jorge Perez from HACIA.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jorge Perez, and I'm the Executive Director of HACIA. That's the Hispanic American Construction Industry Association. I want to thank you, Mayor Lightfoot, for inviting me to come and speak this morning, or this afternoon. I also want to recognize Chairman Villegas and Alderman Moore as well for your leadership. Our organization for the last 41 years has worked pretty diligently to ensure that our members are equitably involved in many of the design and construction projects throughout Chicago and really throughout the state. And we have a wonderful history of being involved in many projects, but it's always been a challenge for, as my colleagues have said, in terms of getting paid, getting involved, looking at other opportunities, what opportunities can further grow, and others that we can enter. When we came out of the last recession, there wasn't much in terms of planned public investment. In fact, there was very little. And our organization, what we decided to do is listen to our members and look at what types of industries or sectors in the marketplace have our members historically never been involved in. And the assessment was pretty simple to do because it came down to what's being discussed today. Who pays quicker, who has planned investment, and who pays quicker. And in any business, cash flow is you live or die by it, and it's very simple. And so what we ended up doing is heading off on a long journey of passing bills at the General Assembly to do what an executive order is doing today. And it took many years for us to do this, but it opened up opportunities, and they were signed. It opened up opportunities for our members and other members of the minority women business community to compete in the utility sector in Illinois, and to compete in the private university sector, and compete in hospital and healthcare centers. And we all know that there's quite a bit of investment that's going to be planned there as well going forward. And also with the Class 1 railroads, and also with any corporation that receives EDGE tax credits. And all those are marketplaces that our members historically have never been involved in. If you're a small contractor or a small architectural firm, you probably do some work in the residential marketplace, the remodeling marketplace, and slowly you can gain some traction there and you can grow. And if you really want to grow, it's in the public sector where your opportunities really lie. But unfortunately, at that point, you actually have to have quite a bit lined up properly for you to properly compete. And many of our members, and Nosa mentioned as well, they bet the house every single day. Every single day they're there and they're risking it. And that's the entrepreneurial spirit. It's wonderful, but it's very risky. At HACIA, we ensure our mission by doing three things: providing a membership platform so folks can do business, get to know each other, do a lot of advocacy, and that's either through public engagement, public action, legislation, and advocacy with relationships. Because many of our members go at it alone, and you need an advocate, and you look at other ways to improve the industry performance, opportunities for you to perform better. And we provide a lot of services. We do quite a bit in terms of capacity building for our firms. We can advocate very hard on one end, but if we don't have members that have the capacity to compete and be a subcontractor or work their way up to be a prime contractor, then it really is for naught. So through HACIA-U, we provide a lot of those opportunities. We've had over probably 1,200 firms that have gone through it in the last 12 years. And we also have opportunities for folks who want to enter the construction industry in a pre-apprenticeship program. But the announcement for this afternoon is really, really phenomenal. From the standpoint of providing a mechanism for folks to get paid quicker is a combination that really needs to be championed and applauded. The fact that the mayor is going out and asking vendors to the city to report their diversity spend is really consistent with what we've envisioned our work to do at HACIA, which we also did, I must mention, with our colleagues at the Federation of Women Contractors. Very difficult to do, and at the very beginning, the utilities hummed and hawed. They were working weren't sure how to approach it all, but the intent of that, and I believe the intent of this, is exactly what is needed. It's change. It's change in this industry that for so long has really overlooked our community, overlooked other minority women businesses as well. But the utilities then started to change their game. They started to change their culture, and that is a significant change there. To the extent now, and to their credit, they've invested, I'll say the utilities, $2.5 billion over the last 10 years. But to their credit, they've changed their cultures inside their corporations. And the same is going to happen, I believe, as a result of this executive order. And that's significant change which will reverberate for many years to come. So again, on behalf of our board of directors at HACIA, my name is Jorge Perez. Thank you very much.